Oh boy. So recently we talked about a little content creator on this place we call the internet named Brianna Joy Gray. Now, she started out as a campaign. I think she was like, I forget what she did, but she was on Bernie Sanders' campaign. And, she was known on Twitter and she had like a pretty decent following, sizable. And she was known for having fairly good takes, right? Like being left wing and, generally pretty agreeable, at least as far press secretary. Thank you. She was Bernie Sanders' secretary. Nothing too crazy, right? But when she really got into my attention was when she stopped being Bernie Sanders' press secretary and she started focusing more on her online content creation, in which she pretty much came forward as being some sort of horrific amalgamation of a tanky, a Nazbol, and a mega populist. It just some horrible witch's brew has combined these horrible ideologies to create hers. Anyway, she's now, defending Tucker Carlson on the Hill these days, but she used to do a podcast called Bad Faith Podcast. And yes, the name is not ironic. They thought it was, but it is not. And her host of that podcast was a man by the name of Virgil, Texas. Virgil, Texas. If we come down here to his Twitter, we can see, here it is. Here he is. Hasn't been active in a hot minute. He has not been active in a hot minute, but I wonder why. Why has Virgil, Texas, this... he used to be a host on Chapo Trap House. Very, very big guy in the lefty space. 168,000 followers on Twitter. Very big deal. Where's he been, though? He's just been missing. He's been gone a whole year. It's been a whole year since he's been seen on the internet. What happened to him? Well, I'm going to go ahead and read a Twitter thread, very short tweet to you guys, and then we're also going to play a short clip from Chapo Trap House. And we're also going to discuss the events that happened with Virgil, Texas, and why he has been gone for so long. Ladies and gentlemen, it has officially been 365 days since Virgil, Texas disappeared after allegations of grooming a minor. 365 days with no answers. But the pursuit rages on. The counting rages on. Please like and retweet for visibility. Simple as that. There's also this clip here that I feel somewhat worth listening to.
I'm Chris Wade, a.k.a. Lil Smoot Hawley, here with Matt Chrisman, a.k.a. Taft Hartley, a.k.a. The Big Magician. What's up, Matt?
Hey, happy to be back. Very excited.
And just as we're getting started here, because there's been some controversy on the subject that's never been officially addressed on the show, I would just like to say regarding one of the previous hosts of this ongoing series, he was unfortunately eaten by an alligator in the Louisiana Bayou while on assignment reporting a now canceled 12-part investigative podcast miniseries called Tough as Clay, the Clay Higgins story.
Oh, R.I.P. to everyone, mon ami.
But it is a midterms year. So after Matt and Mize, I'll just...
Wow, dude, screen. There's nothing to see. It's a podcast. It's just an image of their little patch for their logo for their podcast. Anyway, so they just played it off as a joke, I guess. I mean, they probably don't even know where he went. Listen, my man went he did the hiker lost for 24 hours, doesn't answer his phone because of answer rescuers because of unknown number, but he did it for a whole year. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So what happened to our boy Virgil?
Welcome to capitalism, my dude.
Well, I'm finding... Wait. No way.
Virgil, Texas. What does that name sound so suspiciously familiar? Have we met before? Maybe we have. Virgil, Chris Hansen here of Hansen versus Predators, to catch a predator and have a seat with Chris Hansen. Now, Virgil, I'm going to need you to have a seat right over there. I've been going through some transcripts and I have some things that you need to know. Virgil, You know why I'm here. It's the online activity. It's the sort of behavior that could lead you to meet me in a dark kitchen someplace for an interrogation, having to call Matt Stone to throw your bail. Do you think Matt would do that? I mean, maybe, maybe not. But you should still behave yourself. And if you can manage that, actually, Matt and I would like to wish you and to celebrate 1 year of you escaping to the Bahamas. Congratulations to you. And to Bree especially for surviving 1 year of Virgil's antics. Stay safe, stay healthy. I'll be watching, and I'll see you soon on the TV with new Predator investigations very soon. A sampling now on my YouTube channel. Have a seat with Chris Hansen podcast. Predators I've caught.
Okay. He's been hiking in the Appalachians. Oh, God. Does anyone have a link to the original thread? I feel we should re-go over the original thread. Or no, maybe even better. Maybe we could go back and rewatch my video where I go over the original thread, because I'm pretty sure I covered this when it happened. We can also shit on how awful my old content used to be 1 year ago. Good God. Oh, no. Look at this nerd. Well, it's fine where I start reading through the thread, because we're just here for the thread. This is apparently the person who got Jennifer Seberg, who's now 24, but was a teenager when this happened, is the person who got groomed. So I'm going to turn my own video and speed it up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and give myself a listen reading through this. Let's hope I did well.
And we're going to look into it.
Pre-Morbius saying
When I was a teenager, I thought Virgil Texas was very funny. I asked him to proofread an essay I submitted to a website and emailed it to him. The essay was about turning 16. We talked a little bit, and I thought he was very cool because he was funny and he lived in New York. After talking, we shared phone numbers and texted late at night when I was alone in my childhood bedroom. That turned into FaceTiming and him talking to me about Marie Calloway, who I think was his GF at the moment. I remember he sent me a Soko song about a woman jealous of another woman. After Marie left New York, Virgil, or Justin, I guess that's his real name, Justin, and I started FaceTiming more regularly. If I recall correctly, school was not in session for me, and I could stay up late with him on FaceTime. I believe that we were in a long-distance adult relationship, as he requested things of that nature from me. I recall that this was around the time of Rebel Girl, where Sam Hyde performed. I don't want to give explicit details of what happened over FT, but I think you can get the idea.
I don't know who that was.
I think you get the idea, and it was traumatizing for me for many years. Eventually, Justin lost interest in me, not after telling me that I had a nice chest, not the word he used, for my age, and made fun of people with autoimmune diseases, and we stopped communicating. I went to college a year or so after. During college, I started to realize that this wasn't normal, and that it had a negative impact on my emotional health. I asked Marie for help, and she said, "What do you want me to do?" I felt awful, like it was all my fault. It was a terrible time in my life. I tried to forget it for years until the Daily Caller emailed me asking me to talk about my relationship with Justin. I was terrified for weeks and felt disgusting because of an awful publication was talking about my trauma to monetize it. I tried to forget about it after that. However, I started seeing him with AOC, with Chelsea Manning, with the Bernie staffer, the Bernie staffer. I like how Brianna Joy Gray is even named, but it's Brianna Joy Gray. And I started feeling like anything I ever said against him would immediately label me as conservative, pro-Trump, etc. That is absolutely true, by the way. It made me feel so disgusting that someone who is lauded as a champion of my political beliefs did this to me. He fucked with my head at a very young age, and now I realize that even though he isn't much more successful now than he was when I met him, that is still disgusting. Even though he believes the same thing I believe, the things that are egalitarian and pro-worker, I refuse to excuse him for his abuse of me. I recommend all women in his path stay incredibly cautious. Thank you for listening. What do we think, chat? Brand new news.
So, at the time, that was all there was. Nothing but that. No evidence, really, besides that, as far as I can remember. There wasn't really much more to substantiate. I think there might have been, like, some text or somebody who was like, yeah, it sounds like Virgil. But the fact that he's now been completely MIA for a year since those allegations came out, that he hasn't even made an attempt to debunk them, it's pretty clear that my man just took the L and left. He just took the L and left. He did. He really, really did. I wonder if he'll ever come back one day. I guarantee he comes back one day. I want you guys to clip me saying this because I know it's going to be true. He will come back one day. I don't know if it'll be in a year, 2 years, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years. He'll come back one day, and by then, everyone will have forgotten. No one will care anymore, and he'll rise back up to some level of prominence following the meta of that time. Clip it because I know for a fact that's what'll happen. That's what always happens with figures like this if they wait long enough. I watched a documentary video very recently about something that kind of reminds me of this. There was this YouTuber who was like a really, really, really good pyro main in TF2. And this is like back in a while ago. And, he was really famous, and he even had some stuff in the game named after him and whatnot. And he ended up faking having a terminal illness and then eventually faking his death. And, he wasn't a massive YouTuber, but he had like a pretty decent following. And, he even had like a thing like dedicated to him made by the devs in TF2. It was just a, very crazy thing, right? And then he comes out like 3 or 4 years later and admits that he faked his death, and it was really just a sick joke. And he continues making videos, and now his channel is literally several magnitudes larger than it was before he faked his death. And nobody really cares. Like there were people who were upset, but he's mostly just gotten more positive attention than he did before. Now, of course, that's not like the worst thing in the world, but I think it goes to show that if you wait long enough, basically any horrible thing you do as a content creator will just be seen as ancient history. Guarantee if Onision just disappeared off the internet, came back 10 years later and just pretended like he'd changed, the internet wouldn't care. Internet would accept him back. Could even be less than 10 years, 5 years, easy. Easy. The internet has a very short memory. I know that, like, people say everything lasts forever on the internet, and it does, but public sentiment on the internet has a very short memory. You'd be surprised. He also added donations to his channel after the announcement about the illness. Yeah, he also did that. I remember I saw that thing. Please don't give Onion Boy ideas. Listen, he's not watching my content. And if he is, then he better be donating. He makes like a lot of money, doesn't he? Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, the stream, if you're watching it live, watching the VOD, or you're watching it after it goes up as its own individual segment, then please consider dropping a like. It doesn't just tell me that you like my content. It also forces YouTube to push my content into the algorithm. That means new people, possibly even conservatives, being exposed to my ideas, my arguments, and my content. It's only a good thing, so consider dropping that like. And of course, if you want to see more from me here on YouTube, you can always subscribe or ring the bell icon right next to the subscribe button to turn on all notifications, so YouTube does actually tell you when I go live or upload a new video. And on top of that, of course, if you want to see more from me on this lovely place we call the internet, you can do so by following all my social medias linked down below, especially my Twitter and my Instagram. My Instagram is so dead, but I want to start bringing more of a presence over there. So go follow my Instagram. The link is in the description. Please follow me on Instagram. Yeah, if you want to support me directly and you've got the money for it and you don't need it for anything else, you can always support me financially by donating, subscribing, gifting a sub over on my website, or support me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You've all been amazing, and have a good one.